up? What's up? You know where you are. Patric Young and the Rowdies, your boy Pat Young. Season 2, it's going great. Hope you guys have been enjoying these episodes so far. You guys just heard last week my boy Trey Burton. That was just super exciting. No, he's not a basketball player, but he's a Gator great. And, on this show, we just love to idolize and just highlight the superheroes and those players that came through the University of Florida basketball program and just Florida in general and had an impact on their journey there, and just really dive in to get to know these guys. So before we get into today's guest, whom I'm super, super excited for, guys, continue to share this podcast. It's been awesome. I love reading your reviews, what you guys are saying. This is an honor. This is a pleasure for me to be able to do this and catch up with my guys. So this next guest, he has an awesome story, and really excited to hear it from him, because from the outside looking in, I get one side of things and my view and perspective, but I would love to hear his experience and how we got to that point of where he is probably arguably the most decorated walk-on in Florida basketball history, as far as the most accomplished, most weathered the storm, extremely patient with his time being called, and just the guy that Coach Donovan could always rely on. Just always was an everyday guy, worked his butt off, especially in the weight room, even though, I might have called him out a few weeks ago for not getting his full reps sometimes. And, I might have exaggerated a little bit, but, Preston, he didn't say I was entirely wrong. So maybe there is a little truth. Anyways, without further ado, guys, I'm honored to introduce our guest for this week's episode, Jacob Kurtz, aka Jake the Snake. What's happening, my guy? How you doing?
I appreciate having me on, Pat. I'm excited to do this right now.
Right now? Where are you at right now? I see you're decked out in triple stripes.
Yeah, three-stripe life here in our film room here up at UMass.
Up at UMass. Excited for this upcoming season?
Yeah, so we're excited. We start less than a month. So first game, and then we'll be back. Excited to have kind of a regular season to get back into it. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, diving in on the perspective for you on, the coaching side with the COVID year and how that we'll get to that. But I'm in Jacksonville. I'm here. I'm dog sitting. I got my parent. He was my dog at one point. And we're here just chilling, just doing the podcast, working for Campus Legends every day, trying to get a good routine. Got a girlfriend now, that's a full-time job. ESPN, SEC Network starting up pretty soon. So super exciting time in life. Everyone's doing well. Everyone's healthy. Just excited for college sports coming back up again, because, NFL is cool and all, but I love me some college sports, man.
Nothing like college sports, man.
Dude, nothing like it. So what's fill me in on life, bro? What's happening?
So I'm up at UMass. So I work for Matt McCall, who was an assistant when we were there at Florida. So I finished playing, and he got the job at Tennessee Chattanooga. So he hired me there. So I went with him for 2 years, and now we're up at UMass. We're going into our 5th year up here at UMass. So looking forward to
year 5.
Yeah, it's crazy that I've been out of school for 7 years. Isn't that wild?
Sorry. I could have sworn this was like your 3rd year at UMass. It's something like that.
I'm flying.
What? Dude. Yeah. And then they just have another baby?
He just had his baby son, Maverick. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, what a great guy. What an awesome guy to be working with, huh?
Yeah, he's amazing. Awesome guy, great to work for. I mean, he's the only guy I've ever worked for, so it's been great. It's been a blessing. So I've known him for 4 years, so going on 11 years. So we're still
I
here.
don't think everyone knows Coach McCall's story of how which is really interesting, to how you guys, ended up working together too, with his story of he wasn't a walk-on, but he was a graduate assistant.
Right. Yep. So he was
for
a
a bit.
GA. Yep. For the national championship year. And then I think he was the ops guy for the second national championship. And then he got into a full-time position there, and then went to be an assistant at Florida Atlantic for 3 years. And then he came back when Coach Donovan, all three assistants left. I think that was after your freshman year, right?
Man, Coach Donovan had so many coaches coming in and out every year. It was crazy.
So that 1 year he lost, Rob Lanier. Yeah, so it was after your freshman year. So Rob Lanier,
Okay.
Rob Lanier went back to Texas.
Yep.
Richard Pitino went to Louisville, and Larry Shyatt was named the head coach of Wyoming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we missing one? Yeah.
And then
Shaka Smart left. He left he left coming into my freshman year. He didn't coach me at all. He recruited me, but he never got a chance. He never coached me.
Right.
Which was different.
Because then Norm Roberts came in, right?
Norm Roberts came in, yeah,
Norm,
sure did.
Hell, and Matt.
And Burno at some point.
Yeah, and then after that year, Norm went back to Kansas, and then Burno came in.
Yeah, I need this show to have some stories on Rashawn Burno and John, or even if you want to, if you have better tier John Pelfrey stories, please give me all of them.
He's amazing. He's one of the favorite humans of all time. He is absolutely amazing. But if you think about it, how many good people we were surrounded with at the University of Florida.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So just naming off those, so Matt McCall's a head coach now. Rashawn Burno's a head coach now. Richard Pitino's a head coach. Rob Lanier's a head coach. Larry Shyatt was a head coach. John Pelfrey's a head coach.
Mark Daignault, head coach of the Thunder.
Head coach
Oliver Winterbone now is he's not with the Thunder anymore. He's now working for a coaching agency. But yeah, just about everybody through that Billy Donovan umbrella going on to continue their careers and their dreams and advancing their career.
It's unbelievable how good everybody was, and so good, and awesome humans, and then so good at their jobs. I mean, even look in the basketball offices, you have Mike Roebuck, Tracy Paff, Jack Paff, legends. You have Preston Green, who you had on. You had Duke on, who are just absolutely phenomenal at their jobs. Tom Williams, T-Dub. T-Dub, another legend. Then you had Mike Hill, was kind of our sport head coach, athletic director at Charlotte, and Jeremy Foley. It's unbelievable the experience that we had being surrounded by so many good people who are so good at their jobs.
It's for me, after I left Florida, and not so much as playing in the NBA, but going on to playing overseas, that's where it kind of really struck me wow, how good we really had it there. Just being surrounded by so many people that it was every day. There was always just a positive vibe, everyone, especially, going up to see Mike or Tracy or Darren Hurts in the office, or Billy, Coach Donovan's office always open. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were the days where Coach had to get on people,
Right.
We remember Rosie. my man Mike Rosario was having a tough one day, and it was very interesting. But it was just really cool to be around, people that truly want what's best for you every single day. So it motivates you. That's the kind of environment when you go on to your professional career, you want to continue to cultivate that, which is why it's so crazy that you ended up, you think about it, Coach McCall was a GA at one point, and you were, started as a manager, and, you're working with him now. It's just
It's crazy.
7 years later.
And then also there at Florida was Darren Hurts, who's now an assistant at Dayton, who's in the same league as you. So it's very impressive to see what Coach Donovan did and what he was able to accomplish there. Obviously his accolades, but the people that he surrounded himself with it's unbelievable what he was able to do. Yeah,
and Darren Hurts is probably even a even cooler one, just because he was assistant to the head coach, not an assistant coach, but in a front office type management position where he, he knew basketball. He deserved 1,000% deserved the position, but you had to wait the right time. And so also, I felt so bad for Coach Grant because they were having such a phenomenal year. The COVID year that the tournament got canceled. I really hope that they can bounce back and lose you guys both times. But they can beat everybody else.
Yeah. And then he talked about Mark Dagnall was a graduate assistant, and then he was kind of in like the special assistant role. But think about how many good people were, and zero egos got in the way. Like Mark Dagnall was the head coach in the NBA.
He's a head coach in the NBA.
And he was like a GA. Like, how crazy is that? Like, how lucky we were to be surrounded by that. Where I just walk up in the office and see Mark in the conference room and be able to just sit down and just talk to him for an hour, just about everything.
Can't wait to get him on the show.
Yeah, and
he's a legend.
Legend.
He's one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life.
Absolutely.
And just logical and just charismatic and logical with empathy at the same time. So it's really awesome. But yeah, Jake, let's dive into you, man. It's time to go down the rabbit hole. So how did from born and raised in Oviedo?
So I was pretty much raised in Oviedo. So I moved there when we were 2 years old. So I went to Haggerty High School in Oviedo, Florida. And then, so my high school coach's dad coached at Lake Howell, where Chandler Parsons and Nick Calathis went. So obviously they went to Florida. So through that recruiting process, he got to know the staff at Florida. And so then when I got done playing, decided, I'm not going to go play Division II, Division III, NAIA. I'm going to go to the University of Florida for school. I was just talking to my high school coach about, what are the chances I could do anything with the Florida basketball program? Because I love athletics. I love basketball. If there's anything to be a part of it. I never thought I'd be a player. That was kind of the wildest dream.
Right.
Yeah, but I just had a pretty good understanding that hey, there's a reason why Billy Donovan's not calling my phone in high school. I wasn't hey, why am I not getting recruited at the University of Florida? So I just wanted to be around in kind of any way possible. So then it kind of happened where through Larry Shyatt, I met Larry Shyatt up at the basketball offices, and he said, you can come around practice. And so I would kind of be curious, what did you guys think of for that first probably 6-7 weeks of school, I would just come and I would just watch practice every day up on the second level, mezzanine. And I just thought I had so much fun just watching. Obviously, you see how good Coach Donovan, his job, and the staff, how good you guys are at doing everything. So I just found it fascinating just to watch you guys every day practice, and then you go play the games and see what coach was talking about to implement it into the game. I was this is amazing. This is so.
Did you get a chance within that first? Did you get a chance to really talk with Coach Donovan at all, or it was just you were kind of in that sense, just watching, just a spectator?
Yeah.
And,
so
you come in and then you just.
So I'll come in and just what Larry Shyatt said, I would come watch practice. There wasn't you guys didn't have any manager positions open. Obviously there's no walk-on position. So, but he said you're more than welcome to come by. So I just come by, sit up in the mezzanine, and then I just wave at the coaching staff as they walk downstairs. That was it. I wasn't trying to go sit in Coach Donovan office and have a meeting with him or anything. I was just very glad that he let me just be there. So I didn't want to try to push that anyway or ruffle any feathers with that. And then at Christmas time, one of the managers decided he didn't want to be a manager for the second semester. And so I was asked, do I want to be a manager for the second semester? And so that got me more around the program. So I was around it more on a day-to-day for longer hours, just more than just practice. I was around during games, before practice, after practice, rebounding, doing everything. And I thought it was absolutely amazing. I was this is awesome. I'm around the program, around watching you guys play every day. This is so cool, to be around this every day. It was just amazing to watch.
I guess from our perspective, because you came in fall of 2010.
Yeah.
That's me, Cody, Will, Scotty, Casey, all our freshman year. Vernon Macklin, and Alex Tyus, Chandler Park. Why are you laughing? Chandler Parsons, Irving Walker, Kenny Boyden, Eric Murphy there as well. All of us just Am I missing anybody? I don't think so. Yeah, Walter Hyde and Dan Werner graduated the year before that. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. And I don't know. I think for the most part, we were just like, who's that guy up there?
Right.
Like he's up there every day. Like if you guys have never been to the basketball facility at Florida, we just got our court with all our Final Four courts on the wall hanging up, and then there's an upper floor and a mezzanine area where there's offices, and you over the railing you can watch practices, and that's where like coaches or the video coordinator records practice up there, so coach can like study film and all the coaches can do that stuff. And sometimes the fans would come in occasionally to watch the practice before the season, or scouts or whatever it may be. But before that even happened, Jake was up there every single practice. And it was just like, I don't know, we're just like, I think he would come. He was coming for like 6 a.m. conditioning sometimes too. Like when, I think you were there for like almost every day up until you got the opportunity to become, like for everything that we had scheduled, you were there.
Yeah, because they offered me to come, and I was like, if these guys are extending me like an olive branch, like I want to like take advantage of it to show if anything. Obviously, I was hoping something would come open and be like, obviously, if you have somebody who's around every day, you don't have to go outside looking for a replacement or whatever it is. So I was like, hey, if I'm just around and kind of whatever they need, or just be seen, kind of like not heard or anything, be like, hey, this guy, we can trust this guy. He's showed up every time. We haven't even asked him to. So if we ask him to show up, he will. So that was kind of like my thinking about it. And then I actually remember I was walking out of like Gator Dining, and Mark was walking back from class to the facility, and he said, hey, one of our managers decided not to come back. Would you have any interest in doing that? And I was like, yeah. And it was like a conversation. He gave me his phone number, and we texted like later that day. And then I came in, I met with Darren Hertz and Josh Adele about possibly being a manager. Josh, another legend. Like it also looked at like the managers were absolutely amazing. Like, David Moats, Colby, legend.
Hey Colby, no. No. I'm just trying to say what's up. No, you can't have any gear.
Colby was amazing. Danny Starkman, amazing.
Danny Starkman,
Yep. So it was unbelievable.
Daniel Burkhart lives here now, actually.
Yep, Burkhart. Yep, Evan Clark.
Yeah, Burkhart's here in Jax.
Yeah, so it was like absolutely amazing. It was like fun to be around every day. J-Mo, yep. So it was a cool experience. You know, I'm around like good people every day, and then I get to watch like basketball all day, watch like one of the greatest coaches of all time with like one of the top 10 programs in the country every day. So I loved it every single day.
When things started shifting, you know, and you're doing more, like, you know, as a manager, from just like on the sidelines to being like, how was it when you were like getting more involved in like drills on the court and stuff? You kind of remember like the first time stepping out there?
Yeah, so it was like whenever there was like the scout team, just like kind of like just a walkthrough or something, be like, okay, you go play this position. And I was like, all right, this is amazing too. Now I'm like actually like on the floor or something. So that part was really cool. Then I think there was like one time, and I think that kind of proved that like, okay, if you tell me like to do something, like I can do it. Like, hey, you're coming off like a down screen, like I know what a down screen is. I know what a cross screen is. So it's like, you know.
Oh yeah.
So like that, I think that helped too. Where like, okay, this guy knows a little bit about basketball, so you don't have to like completely coach him. So you could trust him to do something like on the floor. So be like, hey, if you do this, like you don't have to worry about like, can this guy like walk, or can this guy dribble the basketball or do anything? So to kind of just help things run smoothly there. And then I think there was like one time in like practice, like we were just kind of like dummy defense, and like I like blocked like Eric's shot, Murph, and you guys just absolutely like lost it. And like I almost like felt bad because like I was like, I'm not trying to like go like super hard or like whatever it was. It just kind of like happened. And then I remember like Vern just absolutely like lost it. That I blocked, and like obviously like Vern and Chandler, like them together, it's like a comedy.
Oh yeah,
like unbelievable. And they just were just losing it at Murph that he like blocked it, and then it was.
Did you jump, or was it one of those like Murph blocks where, because Murph is a sneaky shot blocker. He like doesn't even jump and block shots.
Yeah, I don't think I wasn't like trying to like jump and block the shot. I was almost like I was just like putting like a hand up to contest, and like obviously like it was like a legit like walkthrough. So it wasn't like we're trying to like score the basketball or anything. And it just like obviously Eric's just walking through. So I just had my hand up there and just it hit it, and then like Vern and like Chandler just like lost.
I'm sure Vern probably said, you friendly bum. And probably can sub out that friendly word for another one. But I'm sure he called him a bum.
Yeah, so it was
you had a lot of great moments in practices, and that's what like, you know, it seemed as though you really started to understand of like how you can contribute, like, because everybody has a part when it comes to winning. And, you know, even before you become a starter and, you know, have a much more significant role, you still understood like, hey, in practice, if I can disrupt practice in a good way, obviously, like you know, we're running the bubble drill or like 3 stops or whatever it may be, where the starting 5 has to do, you know, it's objective. And it's like, you were always the guy, like if we had two stops and needed that third one, all right, y'all trying to sleep, offensive rebound, start over. 0!
Coach, I was just going to say, Coach Dobbin. Yeah, Coach Dobbin yelling 0, like nightmares. Like just like he just like gives you like whenever you hear like 0, you're just like, oh yeah.
0, do it again.
Yeah.
Good job, Jake. Do it again. I want you to embarrass him.
Yeah. And so like that, so like in practice, like that was like always my goal, was just to kind of just like play as hard as I could, do exactly what was asked of me, and just try to like make you guys better, like the starting 5 or the top 8, 9, whatever it was, just push you guys to be better, whether it be blocking out, whatever it was, like guarding the action, the scout team. That was my goal. It's just, my goal was not to be like, hey, I'm coming for Pat's minutes. Like I'm showing him today.
Right.
No, like Pat's better than me. The UF is better if Pat's playing over me. Like I was not like delusional about that. Like, hey, why isn't coach playing me like my first like year? Like, man, this is crazy. I got to practice every day, but coach keeps playing Pat. Why does coach keep playing Pat? This is
right.
Like, so that was never my mindset, but I just loved playing every day. Like it was amazing.
Yeah.
I just got to practice every day. And then, so my first year as a walk-on, that was Brad's first year, Brad Beal. And so like we had a couple injuries, like Casey Prather got hurt a little bit. He had like a rolled ankle. And then all of a sudden, like I'm playing like the 3 on the orange team. I'm guarding Brad. And it's just, oh my gosh, like this is like, he's so good. And then it's like, obviously he's going to score on me because he's amazing. He's a 3rd pick. He's Brad. And it's just like, I'm trying like my very best, but he's better than I am. But I was able to, it wasn't like an embarrassing, like, oh, Brad's giving me like 40 every day kind of deal. But like, my goal was to make him work as much as possible. Make everybody work no matter what it was. And then it kind of evolved to, okay, Jake knows what he's doing. He can understand all positions, like 1 through 5. And then there was times where I was playing the 5, like I was guarding you, just because they knew knew how to guard a pick and roll, knew I would like at least try to play post defense against you. Wasn't like it would be a semi-intense look to try to practice would be able to like function no matter what position I was playing.
2 questions. First, do you remember how good Brad was when he came back after the draft the next year?
Yeah, it was like he like came back and did like 1 individual. It was
He came back. It would have been his sophomore year, and he was working out with like Devo, Devon Walker, and Mike Frazier, and it was like, holy crap, he's gone up 17 levels. Like he dunked on Devo, like. It was just so quick, fluid, and easy. He dunked on Devo. I was like, yo, I was like, where was that last year? But like, we will give you the ball every single time. I would move out of your way happily if you're doing that to everybody. And like, I guess the question is, you know, your learning of the game at that time. Did you take extra time to really learn that, or was it just like you picked it up on the terminology? Because like, for me, that like Coach Donovan was one of my first time getting like real coaching and scouting and all that stuff. Right. So I can imagine for you, but the coaches are taking us to the side, and we got extra film sessions like my freshman year. How was your process of learning the game and like a role and stuff?
So I think being like a manager and just watching practice every day. So that's all I did was just like listen to what they're saying and kind of, I guess like I didn't have the perspective like I have to go apply this. I could just hear what they're saying and be like, okay, this situation, this is what he's supposed to do. Like I don't have the game speed going. Like I don't have to be guarding and be like, oh, what did coach say?
Right.
Like, I'm just seeing it from like the second floor mezzanine. Like, oh, this is about to happen. He should do this. So I think that really helped. Just sitting there and just watching it for a year. And then as like a walk-on, you're not in every drill. You're probably not in the top 10 most of the time. So you're on a sub, you're in a huddle. So you're listening a lot. So I think that helps.
Right.
I try to be very intentional about listening because I was always like terrified that if I not mess up like on the court, because you can't really do anything about like that, but like mental mistakes, like I thought it was just like, okay, like why would he putting Jake in if he won't listen or he's not paying attention? Like we don't need him to do this.
Exactly.
Like, he's not here to like be like a great basketball player. He's here to help us like play practice every day and push our guys. So it's like the mental mistakes, like that's something I took very seriously. Like I have to be so dialed into everything that's being said because I don't want it to ever be like, hey, Jake, we don't need you for this because we can't trust you to do that.
Isn't it funny that, that's a perspective everybody should have in almost everything you do in life, as far as like intentionally listening to internalize it. Just how many guys, I won't call any names out, but just couldn't remember plays. couldn't never get into the same starting spot. And then they question and wonder, why is coach not playing me? Why coach doesn't like me? Coach doesn't, and it's like remembering plays, that's something you control.
Right.
You control listening. You control asking questions and being sure that, because the coach, he's not playing the game for you. He tells you where to be, what to do, the system, and then you go and you fulfill those responsibilities consistently and disciplined and do it the right way all the time. And it's like, how can you get mad at the coach and say, this is like across the board in every sport, in every professional, wherever it may be. Because I'm thinking about Trey Mann, for instance, his freshman year, Coach White was just like, he couldn't get over a screen. He couldn't, because he was so small. Like he made a huge transformation from sophomore to freshman to sophomore year, but he couldn't break through getting screens. And he's like, I don't care about how good he can do all this other stuff. I need him on defense. He's not reliable. Right. So it's really awesome that you took that mindset and was able to pick that up.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm going to do whatever he asked me to do as hard as I can to like the letter of what he asked me to do. Because like, obviously, let's say you mess up something. The first thing is like, okay, you didn't listen to the coaches. The second thing is you didn't do it hard enough. So I was like, I'm going to try to eliminate those first two things off the bat. So it's just like, if something doesn't work, it's just like, I just wasn't good enough to do it. Like, or the offense just made a better play than that. Because sometimes the good offense beats good defense. So that's just whatever happened. So that was always my mindset every day. And then like you said, of somebody not being able to remember plays, would be like, hey, I know the plays of the two. Like, I'll go run these like 5-0. Hey, you need somebody at the 4? Sure, I'll go run in. I'll do those plays too. Like, and I think that helped me add value in their eyes too. Be like, hey, this guy went out. We have no to play this position. Hey, we'll put Jake there. Like he can understand it at those spots. So I think that really helped from like I rarely played like the 1, but like the 2 through 5, like I knew all the plays, like I could execute all the plays at all those positions. And then, even like on the road traveling, like shoot around stuff, like I could run the scout team 5, like I could run the 5, like so all that stuff, like no matter what it was. I mean, I'm 6'5", whatever I am, but I could do those things. So I think that helped add value. And the coach's eye, that helped my role kind of evolve even more.
Yeah, you became like a Swiss Army knife, pretty much. Do you remember, when you're making those impactful plays in practice? Is there any moment like this is like probably I want to say like your scout team freshman year and like your first year dressing out? Do you remember like any impactful plays where you were just like, wow, like and like we all went nuts again or something like that?
So I think there was like one practice. It was like during like the two-a-days, kind of, so like a Saturday two-a-day. So I remember it was during one of those. I think like we got like a steal. We were in like the press. I got a steal. I hit a three, and like the next possession, like we had like a breakaway, and I got it like a dunk. So it's just like, it wasn't like a crazy dunk. It was like a 1-on-0 like dunk, but like everybody was like going like crazy because it was me who like dunked it. So it was like, and so like that part was like pretty cool. It was like, okay, like I do, like these guys see me as like their teammate. Like this kind of like helps.
Yeah.
You know, I am like part of this group. So that was good. And obviously you guys were phenomenal. You guys were also humans. We were close off the floor, all that. So I think that really helped. But then obviously the on the court, somewhat being able to hold your own, I think that did help, you know, kind of bridge the gap even more to be like, hey, this guy's part of the basketball team.
When did that moment like click for you? That, hey, like, well, I guess when was the first time you like dressed out, you know, with for a game?
It was, we were playing Texas A&M in that Sunrise Classic. So I think that
Yep, I remember that.
So that was like the game right before Christmas against, so that would have been your sophomore year. So that was like the first game I dressed out. And that, I mean, even that experience was cool. I don't know how, like the first time, like I have like a jersey like that.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, that was like,
your name on the back.
Yeah. Like what is going on? Like, this is amazing. And then ever since then, I dressed out from every game from then on out.
Do you like having that, like, do you just remember those moments? Like where you like, did you, you know, you're dressing out, holding the jersey in front of you or looking at the locker where you're just like, was it kind of so surreal? Because again, like it wasn't like, that wasn't your mindset when you came to Florida, but, you know, doing things the right way, showing up, being consistent, being kind, being a hard worker, all those things culminated into the fruit of those things happening, the fruit of you being there.
Yeah.
It's no coincidence.
Well, I appreciate that. But it was like, so I'm like holding like the number 0 jersey. So I'm like the bed in the hotel room, like we're getting ready to go to like the bus. I'm like, holy cow, this is like pretty cool. Like this is like I'm like part of like the Florida basketball team. Like who would have ever I would have never like dreamed like this was going to take place. But I was like, obviously I always like hoped it would happen, like just by showing up every day. But then I was like, it's actually like here, like this is amazing. But then it was like also, okay, I can't do anything to ever like get this like taken away. So that's where I always was. So that's kind of like what my mindset was, like, hey, like don't ever like, obviously like enjoy it. Like this is amazing that it's happening. Let's not get complacent or whatever it is to let this like take away and kind of be at the end of the year, be like, Jake, thank you for this year, but we don't need you back.
Yeah. I mean, it had to be just so crazy. I guess my sophomore year, do you remember just like, you know, going through the year and like, when did it really, really click for you that I belong, I'm here, like not, of course, because there can still be some hesitation and the confidence of like that you earned it, that you're not there by mistake. But when did you like, and then human nature comes in, human nature, and like there's a part that there can be complacency can come in once you like once a person feels as though they made it. Some complacency can be like, okay, I don't need to continue to do all those things that got me here, or like continue to work. But you never had a dip in that. You continued to still be that guy that showed up every single day. You know, and it seems like the answer is, you know, you just had so much gratitude, right? Which really helped, and you just loved it. You just loved the environment, having for Coach Donovan, just the opportunity. But was there ever like, did you ever feel like you had to fight human nature along that way of continuing to do those? Because you did help. There were many times that you disrupted practice or extended practice, or were on the scout team or whatever, and just affected and made us get better, challenged us mentally, because we just like didn't want to come practice that day, or just we're slacking off or whatever it may be, and you just like, you didn't care. You're like, I'm here to like make an impact today. So I don't care what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
I'm here.
So like the one time, so like my freshman year, my first year playing, so what time it like really clicked is like the first time like Coach Don and like really got on me in practice for being like out of like position, where I was just like, okay, this guy like cares enough to like yell at me for messing up. So he doesn't see me as like a throwaway. Like he wants me to actually
That's awesome.
participate. He wants me to be involved in this. So there's like 2 times. So it really clicked. The coach Donovan like yelled at me for being in like the wrong spot in practice. So I was like, okay, this guy does not see me as like a throwaway walk on. Like he's actually like taking the time to like coach me, where I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. Like Coach Donovan's like coaching me hard in practice right now. So it's like, I got to keep pushing. So I think that's the part where I was like, I really felt that like, okay, like I'm part of this team because like he's taking his time to invest in me and not waste his energy, but put his energy into me in practice to make sure it looks good. And probably the complacency was probably sort of been my junior year. So your senior year, we scrimmaged like Georgia Tech. Remember, like the school shirts at Georgia Tech. So like that summer and the fall, like I felt like I was getting a lot better. I was working hard with Preston. Like my body changed a lot. I was working hard. I felt like I was getting a lot better. And then in practices, like I felt like I was like playing, like I belonged out there playing. I wasn't like the greatest out there, but like I wasn't like somebody you just pick on, like, oh, go at Jake. Like I felt like So we played Georgia Tech. We had a couple guys who didn't play, so like I had to play a lot, and I actually played like pretty well. Played in that one. So then we had our exhibition game where like I started because Will was out with the knee. So I actually started the exhibition. I think I had like close to like a double-double. We didn't play great, but like I was like, okay, like I proved that like, you know, I can play a little bit. Like I'm not some bum, that like I can play.
Yeah.
And so like I remember like the 2 practices later, we're doing like the scout team for our first game of the year. And then Coach Donovan says, like, naming out the teams, and he's like, and Jake, go on the black, take your jersey off and go on the black to the scout team. I was like, man, this guy really doesn't think I can play. I was like, I played well against Georgia Tech. Like I played well in the scrimmage. I was like, this guy really doesn't think I can play. Like, what do I got to do? And so like that day kind of like when we're walking through that kind of was like, what? And so I think like, I didn't think I was like outwardly showing it, but now when I'm thinking back, it probably like was, because I remember like Mark like walking by and saying like, good job today, like way to work. And I'm like, yeah, like whatever. And then I remember like Pell said like, are you paying attention? I was like, yeah, I'm coming off this down screen, and then I'm going to reverse to him, and then I'm going to cut through. And he's like, no. So like what we're doing defensively, because like you're going to play. I was like, I kind of like didn't brush him off, but I was like, kind of wasn't as like engaged as I should have been, like talking to Mark and then Pell about it. And I kind of like feel bad now, I'm like thinking about it, because I was like, like Pat's going to come over, they're going to down this pick and roll, and these guys are pulling over, we're going to rotate out of it. Kind of like say it like very like nonchalantly, like when I was talking to Pell about it. And then like during it, Coach Donovan, like 2 plays later, is like walking around. He says like, Jake, you're paying attention, right? I was like, yes. He's like, because I'm trusting you right now that you can pay attention to what we're doing defensively, but still run these plays. Like I'm trusting you because you're going to play. And I was like, for like those like 20 minutes, like I was like in my feelings. I was like, what am I doing? Like, how could I? And him like telling me that, I was just like, okay, like this can never happen again.
Yeah.
It was like, I never want to like feel like that again. And I played like for those like first like 8-10 games when we had guys out. So he did trust me, but every single time, like I was on the scout team, but he would always say like, hey, like I'm trusting you that you're paying attention to what we're doing, and that you can run whatever team's actions, but you know how we're going to guard it at different positions.
That just goes to show, you know, people that want to be leaders one day and don't understand. You're not a leader by just having a position. You are a leader by how you intentionally choose to serve the people around you and impact them and make sure like everyone's needs are met. And you do it in different ways, because think about it. Coach Donovan, being the heck, he doesn't owe you an explanation. He doesn't.
Nothing.
None of us. he doesn't. He does not have to do, like, outside of just being a coach. He doesn't have to have relationships with everyone. He's like, just do your job. Just do your job. He could be like, but to take that time, because even think if there's more time that goes between that, there's more that mentally it happens to all of us. Right. Something goes not our way, then we start going down this rabbit hole of, you know, whatever it may be, and we just keep it exponentially grows. Right. And you know, it's human nature. It happens to us. Like we just go to the extreme of how this is the worst thing ever. But then the person that's leading us, making sure they're connected with us, seeing how we're doing, checking in, speaking life into us, encouragement, snaps it out of just like that. And
yeah, then, like, if it wasn't for
it wasn't for that, yeah,
right, yeah, like if he didn't like say anything, like it would have been probably like the next day, be like, I still would have been happy to be there and practice hard, but like I would have just would have been like, man, like like he really doesn't think I can play, like
yeah, and it strengthened you. It strengthened 100%. You and gave you that scar tissue. Like if something were to happen, you would be like, no, like I'm good. I know that I'm supposed to be here. I belong here. I'm gonna play. Like I'm gonna continue to work my butt off and make sure I'm reliable, because that stuff can get in the way. Slippage, as Coach Donovan, it can turn into slippage somewhere else down the road. But that just goes to show, like, you know, and I'm sure Coach McCall does a great job. And it's difficult. It's difficult when you're a head coach, especially, you know, Coach Donovan and Coach White got families. Right. You know, Coach White's got 5 kids, but, you know, 5 kids at home. You got 15 kids in that he's working every single day. And it's tough to be able to make sure everyone is getting the same amount of attention. But the fact that, you know, being intentional and checking in on everybody on a continual basis, that's what it takes that's what good leaders have. They have to have that.
Yeah, and those, like, I felt so bad. Like I was like, what was I doing for those like 20 minutes? I can't believe like I did that. So then it was just like, from then on out, it was just like, no matter like what happens, like I gotta like give it all. And then obviously it happened where there's like times we got healthy, so my playing time went down my junior year, but like in practice or whatever it is, like I got to be ready to go no matter what it was. And then we had a couple games, like the Auburn game at home, where it was, and then like I haven't played probably like in a month, but like because like every day I showed up and I was reliable, I didn't kind of take a back seat, like he put me in for like 3-4 minutes or whatever it was, like in the second half of a meaningful game.
Yeah.
So that
game was crazy, bro. It's crazy how when you're on top, everyone's bringing it, and you should know it. Everyone's bringing you their best shot. Right. And Auburn was like a bottom half of the league that year, and the point guard shooting like 7% from 3. Like the big, like everyone, like no one on the team is like doing well. And then the point guard hits like 4 threes in the first half. Like so what happened? I remember in warmups, I like strained my knee, and I was like, damn, man, am I going to be able to play? Just didn't feel great. And Brad put a gallon of Atomic Heat on my leg, bro. That hurt. That Atomic Heat cream or whatever. Yeah, that was worse than my knee pain. It was terrible. My leg was on fire. And I just remember at halftime, Coach Donovan's like, "Are you going to play?" Yeah. If you're not gonna play, I'll take you out, because I think I had 0 points and 1 rebound in the first half, just kind of babying my knee and just playing soft and you know, not being impactful, trying to feel myself out. And I just was like, he challenged me, and I was like, F this, I'm going to go. Like, I don't care, I'm pushing through this. And then, you know, came on to win that game. It was an awesome win.
Awesome win, yeah.
Mike Frazier getting that 3. Me, and I hit those free throws.
Yeah.
I cast out on those free throws. And Mike Frazier knocked down those. It was so loud, man. That's why I love being able to name this podcast The Young and the Rowdies, giving homage to the Rowdies, Rowdy Reptiles. I just love how loud they would get, bro. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
it's a great place.
Like the fact they helped us win that game against Auburn. It was so loud that the players couldn't see. Like, one player is looking at the coach, one's ready to throw the ball in, throws the ball in, guy's not looking, goes out of bounds, we get the ball right back. Yeah. It was like a 6 or 7 point swing. that I mean, we deserved that game, but it was just incredible.
Crazy.
Do you have a favorite moment of that? You know, your junior year, my senior year.
So obviously, I think when we go to the obviously going 18-0 was awesome. The win at Arkansas was unbelievable. That was a great win. Cause I remember like a funny story about that one was like, obviously like me and Dodo, like I always try to like go at Dodo the whole time, not give him any credit ever, like whatever it was, like never like try to compliment or whatever it was in practice. I always try to go at him. Cause I remember like we're going and Scotty hits that shot to send it into overtime. And Dodo, I think, had like video game number. I think he had like 22 and like 15 or something that game. Like he was unbelievable. And I remember like walking off the floor of like overtime. So like now they're coming to the huddle right after regulation. I remember like dapping up Dodo and being like, I can't believe I have to cheer for you for another 5 minutes. Let's go win this game so I can stop cheering for you. And it was just kind of like just the light in the mood, like, all right, let's go get this. And we ended up winning. Yeah. That was unbelievable. And then
to this day, I'm sure you guys still give it to each other.
All the time. Yeah. I love that kid. He's amazing. And obviously he's so good. I'm so happy for all the success that he has with the Mavericks. It's unbelievable. Undrafted to starting. It's unbelievable. And then beating Kentucky to go 18-0 was awesome. And then we beat them the SEC tournament championship game. You know, Scotty diving on the floor, like that picture, like coming at our bench and just going crazy when that happened.
Dude,
that feeling, unbelievable.
What was so crazy about the way we won that game? Do you remember it was a practice? You know, every practice senior year, my senior year, your junior year.
The handoffs.
We did the handoff drill.
Switch
the
out.
Stupid freaking handoff drill. And we got tired of that. And then Coach Pell, like I think we got kicked out of practice, and he's like, you know, all you guys have to do is come here for an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15, and just come with the right mindset, work your ass off, like lay the foundation down. Like you don't need to practice. You guys, like we had the terminology down, we had the cohesion, we weren't egotistical type team. And it was like, it's like you kind of need those moments, those reminders, because I remember starting the season, even before that, we started the season off after Georgia Tech. And Coach had to get on us because we were like a little lax.
Right.
And
yeah.
we had a really good defense the year before, and he was like, I don't care what you guys did before. You got to lay the foundation right now.
Yeah.
For this season.
Yeah. So that was like awesome. And then obviously, you know, we beat Dayton to go to the Final Four. That was awesome. Obviously, because, you know, 3 years in a row we're in this game. A couple of times, like I thought we were going to win the game, and then we didn't. And then it was just like, we did it. We broke through. And then I just remember being in the locker room with everybody and the plane ride home. I was like, this is amazing.
Oh yeah. And then coming back and the fans there at the airport.
Yeah.
Was pretty dope. It was
awesome.
Just that whole year, man. It was such a great time. But yeah, the fact that Kentucky did a dribble handoff in the same way in which we had been playing, practicing that whole season and to win that game, and that was if Kentucky would have won the tournament or the national championship, I would have caught a case. I would have. We had their number. Like Julius Randle could do nothing. I don't know. Through that James Young, whomever they had, we just knew exactly what to do, scouting report wise, to take away their strengths, and we didn't foul. And we took care of the ball. So, you know, you got a team that's making you have to earn it, and you're not, you know, we're not fouling. You're getting one shot. We're getting the rebound. we're getting the rebound, and then we're out.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so this is where it gets like, I guess a lot. You didn't play for Coach White, right?
I did not. No. You
did not. Okay. So after going into your senior year, you know, after we get off this euphoria. You know, how was your off season that year? You know, I imagine you trained your butt off with Preston, preparing, like going to your last year, knowing you're going to have a much more significant role, like you've earned it. Your last year there. Like, what was that whole situation like, your perspective?
So I try to keep doing what I've been doing the whole time, you know, like working out with Preston, just working out every day on the court, everything is push. I knew like just from being there so long and how many new guys we had that it was going to be different. Obviously, you lose 4 starters, like it's going to be a different team. So I knew like my role was going to be a little bit more, especially probably like early in the season, whatever it was. So obviously I was excited about it. I was looking forward to it, training hard. And then, I mean, we had a lot of talent on that roster. It just, I mean, I think we lost, I think like 8 games by like 5 points or less or something. It was, so that means, so we think we went 16 and 17. So we were right there in a lot of those games. So we weren't like a bad 16, 17 team. We were just a 16, 17 team, which is not great. It's not good at all, but we were
Chris wasn't helping out much.
Sky, go, love him.
Go.
Love Chris Walker. So we were right there a lot. So obviously that year, I mean, obviously I got to play a lot, but I would have rather like not play than win a bunch of games if I could have picked the 2 of them. Like if I could have picked the experience of like going to another Elite 8, Final Four, and not playing, like I would have chose that over playing whatever it was, 18 minutes, 19, whatever it was, and then going 16 and 17.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a tougher year, but just the privilege and opportunity for you and me both to play at the University of Florida, to play for Coach Donovan, Hall of Fame coach, to start, to contribute, to win, for us to share those memories together, like it's
awesome.
It's so awesome. Absolutely. So after. What's your path like? Did you know exactly what you were going to do after senior day? Season's over. I'm sure it was emotional because it's like that had been your life. As for me, for the last 4 years, those relationships, seeing those people every day, the practices, the camaraderie. How did you feel knowing that had come to an end? And like, did you already know? And how did it come to you going to Chattanooga with Coach McCall?
So it's always like the end of the season is always like tough because it feels like you're going so hard, and then just bang, it just like stops, and all of a sudden you're just like, okay, now what? You know what I mean? Like you ever like had those days like, oh, I don't have to go lift today, I don't have to practice. Individuals like especially like after like the second day, you're like worried that like I'm missing something. Like what am I skipped this or something? I'm getting in trouble for this. So after like your senior year, my junior year, like I graduated with my mechanical engineering degree. And then, so it's like, I have 1 more year to play. So I'm going to come back to school. So I did the 2-year MSM program. So, always the plan was to do 2 years. I was going to graduate with my master's. So I was going to play last year, and then I'll see if I could do kind of like a GA opportunity to my second year, finish out the degree. And then whatever happens after that happens. But so after the season, my senior year, we get done playing. Coach Donovan says like, hey, do you want to work in basketball? Like, would you be interested in working with Coach McCall? And I was like, yeah, like I think that for sure. Like obviously, Coach McCall is awesome. You've been around for 4 years and all that. So Coach Donovan calls Coach McCall about it, like the opportunity. Does he have any positions open? And there, I remember Coach McCall texted me later, like, hey, I'm coming back into town. Let's meet. And so then he gets back in town after his press conference, after he got the job, and he says like, hey, do you want to come work as the video coordinator at Chattanooga? I was like, let's do it. Like, yes, thank you. Like, please, like, thank you. And then so I went, and then I was just kind of always hoping that the rest of the school would kind of go online and be able to finish it, which I was able to do. But that was kind of how I got to, that's how the role at the Chattanooga ended up. So I got very fortunate that I was around a lot of good people at the right time.
Well, it was definitely more of a process, I know, for the MSM program because I ended up, I got my degree in the same thing, and they were just telling me that they didn't have it online for the longest. Like you had to be in Gainesville, so it ended up taking more time for you than you would have liked. But still an awesome thing to be able to get that master's. And paid for? School paid for it?
No.
Daggone. And then, but you had, of course you had experience with a little bit of video stuff, but it's like, taking on that lead, were you like the head video coordinator?
Yeah, so I was the video coordinator at Chattanooga. So obviously I've never done anything video, never done anything with it. So I'm just like trying to learn on the fly, just trying to learn everything. But I enjoy the process of like trying to learn something new, especially because it's with basketball. So it was a fun experience. So we had a couple good years at Chattanooga. So it was a lot of fun. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was a good time. Very fortunate and lucky that.
What's the city like?
Chattanooga?
Yeah.
Amazing. One of the a great place to live. So it was a great time. So it's about like an hour and a half from Atlanta. So it was amazing. So very fortunate to have that time learned a bunch of stuff. I mean, that was the first time ever like being on the coaching side of it.
Yeah, right.
Like seeing all like what goes into it, because you don't really like. I think you kind of like knew, but then you didn't really like know like look how much like time and effort like goes into like making like a 5-minute edit that we show the team that we think, oh, that was only 5 minutes, but that took like hours upon hours upon hours to get to that point. So it gives you kind of like a different like appreciation and perspective on what it takes.
Take those out, because you got to find, you're looking for specific plays,
right,
or whatever it may be throughout your 3 or 4 or 5 games that you got to watch.
It is, yeah.
Snag those clips.
Yeah, so that was like part of it, was like learning how to do all that, but then like learning like, okay, a lot goes into this. Like these guys work so hard for what they did, and then you kind of get a great appreciation for like the people that were coaching us at Florida that put in this much time to help us.
Yeah,
I think that was pretty cool.
Did your mindset shift? Now that you go from the playing side to the coaching side, of like that still kind of, I'm going to work hard every day, grateful, put in the work, contribute to winning. It's just transition from like did the mindset change in the same way just as you carried on with that new position? Of course you're in an uncharted territory because it's new.
Right.
It's new and uncomfortable, but how has the mindset for you translated?
Yeah, so I try to keep the same mindset of hard work. You just kind of had to channel the work through a different thing. So instead of like, working on the weight room or whatever, it's like, okay, now I got to try to figure out how to do this video, like become good with computers, like whatever it was, like what's the process was, thinking ahead of being organized of like what games are coming up, staying organized with that, helping the coaching staff kind of whatever they need. So kind of just channeling all that hard work into a way to help the team that had nothing to do with like playing in practice.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what my mindset to it was.
So then Coach McCall gets the opportunity for UMass.
Yeah.
Did he just like offer up, Jake, you're coming with me?
Yeah, he said, I got the UMass job. Do you want to come with me? And I was like, absolutely. Like, thank you. And so yeah, for sure. Let's do it. And
then you got there and you're like, it gets cold up here.
It does get cold. Winter is about to come here, but you got to get a good pair of gloves and a good jacket, and you're fine. So we'll be prepared for that. So it's been a lot of fun. So very fortunate, lucky, being surrounded by a lot of good people. So
bro, you sent me pictures. It looks like you need more than I've seen that snow.
Like, yeah, that's always the worst. Hey, you'll send me a picture of like.
By the way, everyone, go Sox. Yeah. Yeah, Jake and I are both Red Sox fans, and it's hilarious. I think maybe it was my senior year. He was like, I think you had a Sox shirt on, and I was like, oh, I'm a Red Sox fan. He's like, bro, you're not. I've never seen you. Never said a single word. He's like, I am. I'm just like a closet Red Sox fan. But I was like, no. He's like, no, you're not. But I swear I am. I've been my whole life. I played Nintendo 64 and King Griffey Jr. and Nomar Garcia-Parra, and that's when I fell in love with the Red Sox because Nomar always hit it out. And then ever since then, and it was it didn't help that the Rays were like abysmal for a while. So, and the Florida Marlins were also, and still are, not very great. So that's why it was pretty easy for me to stick with the Red Sox. So, yeah. And yeah, we're going all the way. We're going all the way. But Jake, I wanted to ask you, now that you're going into your 5th year, and now you have such a good amount of experience and credibility in the basketball world, what is the dream for you? Because not that you fell into these great opportunities, but the way in which you carried yourself, there's no surprise that these things, happened and they continued on, because there's one thing for you to get your foot in the door, and then, like you said, thanks, Jay, good time, appreciate it. We don't want you to come back next year. It didn't work out. But because of your character consistency through that, these doors continue to open. If there was like one thing, do you want to be a head coach one day? Do you want, like, what's the the vision, dream, hope in the future for you?
Yeah, that would be a dream, to be a head coach one day. But I think just kind of the process of, just trying to like show up every day, work hard, carry yourself the right way, and kind of see what happens with that. But obviously, yes, the goal and dream is to be a head coach someday. So that's what I would like to do. But obviously, it's a long way. I got to get a lot better working at it.
Yeah, we all need to get a lot better. But, I think I wouldn't be surprised, seeing, especially looking at like Darren Hurts, or looking at Coach McCall, who you're working with, his process to get into the position, and then Darren Hurts to getting an assistant coaching position, and then one day, who knows, he may, it's not out of the cards, but it just shows like continuing to treat people with kindness, respect, showing up every day, listening, working your butt off. It's a process. It's you don't want to say long suffering, but a journey to wherever the goal is. Take steps, take the process, and you gotta. Is today? And you look back and reflect. Today, did I take a step forward to where I want to go, or did I just stand still, or did I take a step backwards? Did I take a step off the path? And just want to encourage you, man. Just keep taking steps on the path, and I'm super excited for you guys this year.
Appreciate it.
Pretty crazy. You're in your 5th year over there at UMass now.
Yeah, time goes by fast.
I can't believe you have a short sleeve shirt on. I've only ever seen you with a short sleeve shirt on while you're in UMass.
And then real quick, last thing, what is your favorite Coach Donovan story? Like your personal story.
Oh man, you put me on the spot. Do you have one ready?
So I have mine that I always like think about, that I always think is like a pretty like funny moment. There was just kind of like a personal thing with just like me and Coach Donovan. Well,
can you give that? You got to give it to us now, and it might stir something on.
Yeah, I just wanted to flip the script and interview you. So, like in a timeouts, how like sometimes like the TV timeouts, they get like pretty long. So like the coaches like can't talk for like 3 minutes straight. So like they kind of get to that lull of like, okay, I've already said what I need to say, but like that horn like hasn't gone off. You know what I'm talking about? Where so they already like gone over everything they need to go. So now you're just kind of like looking around, just like, all right, is the horn gonna go off now so we can get back to playing? And so like Coach Donovan's like looking at like the stat sheet, and I had like a couple like early turnovers, and like one was my fault, but then a couple other ones was like somebody just like dropped the ball. And so like obviously I get the turnover. So like Coach Donovan looks at me, it's just like, so he's already did his whole team deal. We're just waiting for the horn to go off. He looks at me and he goes, "Did you grow up liking these guys?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You must have like posters of them on your wall, huh?" I was like, "Coach, what are you talking about?" He's like, "That's the only reason why I think that you keep throwing them the ball." And I just started like laughing because like his like sense of humor. Oh, he's like, that's the only thing I can think. You keep throwing them the ball. Like you must have been big fans of him growing up. And I was just like, but that was like his way of being like, how he is. Like he's so good at giving anybody like what he needs or what they need at what time. Like know how to push everyone's buttons, no matter who it is. He's so good. He's like, that was his way of saying that, like, hey, go play. Like you belong out there. Like let's go. And I just remember just like looking at him and just like laughing, just like, did he really just say that? But he's like, he did. It was amazing. So I was wondering if I'm sure you had like many more like moments like that.
I'm trying to think. I mean, there's a few, man, of course. I remember coming in after my 21st birthday. Jake, I couldn't stretch. I was so hungover. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was a day.
Oh my God. I couldn't. I just remember being in like, because we always did our stretches in like rows of 4x4, something like that on half court, and our strength coach would lead us. I was on the right side, we're looking at half court,
Yeah.
And I just remember like I couldn't put my head down and just do like a hamstring stretch. And I'm like, how am I going to make it through practice today? I'm like, I am dying. I am dying. I am dying. That's all I was thinking through the whole practice. And then I just remember Coach Donovan cut it short. I guess, you know, if he couldn't smell me, he could obviously see that I wasn't myself. And he's like, we're going to cut practice today short. Right, Big Pat? There's that little laugh. Like, get some rest, Big Pat. I think you need it.
Yeah, but good time.
He would. I remember, you know, me and Will, we'd be a little moody sometimes, and you know, Will and I were always attached at the hip,
right?
And we would come into practice at the same time, and he's like, should I call you guys Mr. and Mrs. Young or Mr. and Mrs. Jaget?
and his laugh was always just like, get me
on point. If he thinks it's funny, my girlfriend, she always says, if I think it's funny, I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
Which is what Coach Donovan thought. I mean, and then Coach Pell, oh my gosh. Coach Pell, what a guy. Love him to death. But it just, poor Dylan. First off, poor Dylan Graham. Dylan got it from Coach Pell. He gave it. He got it. But I just remember this Coach Pell, man. He just like he's so passionate about the game, and it's like loves oh man. He just like the things that he would say, just like those quirky Pellisms that we would say was just unbelievable. Like what did you just say, Coach? It would make sense to him.
He's amazing. He's so good. And then obviously he's got his jersey up in the rafters at Kentucky. So very fortunate that he was able to coach us and pour into.
Yeah, he's absolutely.
So grateful to be around all those guys.
He would scream at us for defense, and it was like, Coach Pell, you couldn't play defense. You were a scorer. You could score the hell out of the ball. You weren't on the white line back in the day. You weren't diving on the floor. You weren't taking charges. You might have been taking charges. Everyone took charges. But Jake, man, I want to thank you so much for your time. I hope to see you sometime in the future. I don't think I've seen you physically. So last time that we've seen each other physically been, was it your senior year? No, I don't even know if I was there. I don't think I came to a game. I was overseas.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I definitely didn't come out of Chattanooga. That didn't happen.
But it's
man,
catch up. Good to talk.
Do you guys have any? Do you have any SEC games this year? Any SEC teams?
No, we don't play any SEC teams this year.
Okay. Well, I'm super excited for you guys. Tell Coach McCall I said what's up. Have a great season. Have a great season. Stay encouraged. Continue to put that same mindset on every day. And shoot, man. Yeah, I'll catch you later. Thank you so much for your time, brother.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again so much. That was the one and only Jacob Kurtz, the one and only Jake the Snake. My guy, he has such an awesome story. Coming at Florida, not knowing what to expect, thankful for the connections he had to step into the door and just start watching practice. And then that resulted in him becoming a manager and then walking on and having a significant role as a member of our Final Four team in 2013-14. As you heard, you know, we were banged up earlier in that year and he played with us. And then also he finished his career at Florida, and then now he's on to bigger and better things through that Billy Donovan umbrella. Please share this episode and just like Jake did with his story, continue to lay the foundation every single day of taking a step towards your goals. And ultimately, even if you don't see where that next step is, it's free to be kind. It's free to just working hard and just putting those steps in daily, staying encouraged, staying positive. You never know who's watching. You never know what doors are right around the corner to be open. But that's enough of me preaching, guys. I can't wait to catch you guys next week. This is the Young and the Rowdies. Stay tuned, everyone, for the next week's episode, and stay rowdy.